beautiful people. Welcome back to the Best Couple podcast. You're here with me, with me. Oh my God, I can't even already get my words out. You're here with me, Sarit and Stevie K. Right, guys. I don't know. I feel like I'm in one of those moods today. It's not often, so I make the most of it.
Actually, Sarit hasn't been in the working mood this week at all.
Excuse me.
You haven't. I've been working. As in, like, work?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. But
I'm not saying you haven't been working, but as in work,
how
as
it came
in,
across.
you know, like, you've been doing stuff.
That's work.
Stuff, yes, but I mean, like, work as in, you know, financial working, money.
Magic flicks. I'm still doing things in the background which are work, which is financially work.
Okay.
I haven't sat on Magic Flicks in a week, and this man is missing me.
It's not that.
You know what? It's done the world of good for me. To be honest, I really needed it.
Done the world of good for me.
But I can't wait to speak about that side of my life when I'm ready. You guys are going to be in for a ride.
And guys, today, yes, we're going to be talking about, obviously, things like the whole work-life balance, family, health, you know, that kind of stuff. But
before we get into it,
okay,
we're going to be talking about that. So with what I'm not working today, I mean the week you're saying, haven't worked for the week, considering the subject we're talking about,
yeah,
I think I've done really well in having to think about myself this time round as well. So it is a good thing. So considering we're going to be talking about the work balance life,
great.
It's the balance that I'm trying to...
There you go.
Navigate through.
See, it's the thing about this podcast is it's not just about giving sort of guidance, advice. It's about talking about our personal experiences and what we go through. But it's also things about what we're learning still.
Yeah.
And what we adjusting and growing from. And I think loads of people are in that same sort of situation where, you know, it doesn't mean that you guys are either in podcasts or YouTube like us, but you have your own jobs, you got families, you got commitments, you got, you know, this day and age, you got to improve on yourself, personal growth, look after your health. There's so many things going. And the problem is there's one thing trying to do those things, you know, when it's just you, single, alone, and trying to, like, you know, how can I put this? Okay, you know when lots of people put out all this self-improvement stuff, information, it's not just the people who are giving that sort of motivational speaking, but also could be therapists, psychiatrists. You got everyone on social media platform these days. Everyone's giving their 2 pence.
For flooding you with all this information.
Yeah. So, but when they giving out this information, they don't specifically... It's like global and it's sort of for everyone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which then every single person's taking it and going, oh, this is to me, this is to me, this is to me. Not understanding or not thinking at that time is like going, but my circumstances, are they talking to someone who is single in their 20s or 30s or 40s? Are they talking to a person who's a single parent with kids? Are they talking to a couple? Are they talking to, you know, just a couple? Or are they talking to a couple with a family? You know, so when the information comes, it's like going, you should have, you know, time to exercise, go to work, you know, your own self, like healing, improvement, do reading, time for your family, journaling, time for your family, you know, time for your friends.
And you think...
And you look at all that and you're going, okay, I get that, but if you're single, when I was single, I could do that.
Yeah.
But can I really and if I want to do that, you've got every right to do that, but your things, your, you know, do time for yourself or your time for your family could be a totally different time to what my time is, or your work could be a totally different time to my time.
So when do you make time for each other? Yeah.
So it's not one size fits all. I think they give the information as one size fits all.
Yeah. And you think, did our parents or the past generations, did they ever do all of this? The journaling, the yoga, the mindfulness, the get up in the morning and grind and all of that kind of stuff?
They were just grinding.
And lived life.
No. They didn't, did they?
No.
And nor did they have all this information.
Did you know they lived a happy life? I believe they did.
I don't know if they lived a happy life, but I believe that they were taking more action than the people that do now. Now it's more or less absorbing the information. There's so much information from books, and YouTube, everywhere, podcasts, including ours, like I'm saying.
I'm one for that. I'm like always...
So much information that people keep on absorbing.
Yeah.
But back then, I believe it was more action.
Yeah.
They just did it because who they were going to talk to and, let's just do it.
Yeah.
But was health important back then, though? Like I'm talking about, obviously, we covering the work-life balance, and in all that is, yes, you go to work. Yes, you got to have time for yourself. Yes, you got to exercise and look after your health. Yes, you got to have time for your family and those kind of things. So what was important to our parents, would you say, back then? What was the most important thing, and what things didn't they think about?
I think the most important thing to them was providing, making sure there was a good income coming in.
Yeah.
Food on the table. Roof over your head.
Clothes.
I think that was the main thing.
Main
thing. And then maybe having some free time with family and stuff, whether it's weekends.
Yeah. So basically,
it was very rarely that you'd have a vacation, or whether it's the beach.
Yeah.
Once a year if you're lucky.
And if you did go somewhere, it would have been India at the end of the year or something.
Yeah.
If you was lucky, kind of thing.
Yeah. It wasn't like every year, was it? Like, oh, we're going to go and hit the beach. It's probably once every 4 years, or once, or a zoo, or something. So it wasn't
safari park.
Like now, families want to make sure that they're going on holiday once a year at least. Whereas there it would be like once every 4 or 5 years.
Did any, certainly from Indian families, I'm not talking, I remember in primary school, I can't even remember the boy's name, but I'm not going to mention, no one's going to know who he is now. He's probably not going to be listening. But white male, obviously we're about 7 or 8. And
you never know, he's probably found you and like, oh, this is Stevie K.
His name was Ian. See, I can remember still.
Ian.
And he went and on holiday, and he came back with his family, and he was like suntanned, and really properly suntanned, and he's like a mate of mine, and I think he had gone to Greece or Cyprus, one or the other anyway, but every year he would be going somewhere. And obviously for me, I was just like looking at him like, wow, where, I wouldn't even have a clue where this place was. Like going, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I was thinking he's probably got family that lives there. He's probably from Cyprus or Greece. That's why he goes back there. Because the only place we would probably go is India, because we're from there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Not that, oh my God, he goes on holiday every year and like to this place, and he comes back all tanned, and he looks like he's like had a good time with his family. I'm going, we go in the winter and we go in the cold, and we go when like, we don't even want to be there.
I remember the same. I had a friend in primary school. Her name was Rachel. If I was still Rachel, I don't remember the surname, but she was from Ireland, I think. Ireland. I don't know whether she moved here from Ireland or they were half Irish, but she came back from her holiday, and she'd come back with a kilt and everything. So she was happy to share. When you come back from your 6 weeks holidays, what have you done? So she had all of her gear, and she performed for us in the class and danced, and it was just, wow, mesmerizing, with the little, those shoes that make noise and stuff. So that was exciting. I think I was the same as well. And Ireland, what's
you
Ireland?
went there 6 weeks. And,
where's that?
And you're at 6 weeks. Where did you go? I went to my grand's. Where's that around the corner?
We lived at our grand's. We did. That was holidays for us. It was fun as well.
My 6 weeks holidays, I was at the Gurdwara every day. And that's the honest truth.
That's really sweet.
I'll go with my baby in the morning, and my baby will leave us there. And she would basically, honestly, leave us there. Can you imagine that happening now? Mm-hmm. We were only in primary school, and my baby will leave me and my sister's there. And this is at the main Smethwick Gurdwara, which now, it's totally different. It was different back then. Back in those days, it was totally different. It was upstairs.
You could serve.
It was upstairs.
The kids could serve.
Not only that.
Probably check your hands.
Every single person was present. They weren't like, it isn't like a strict regime kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, you got to be like that. It was anyone's, I know anyone's still welcome, but it wasn't in the way that it is now. Like, everyone's just like, checking, making sure how you are.
I don't think kids are allowed to actually do that.
I don't know. I don't know the situation. But the thing is then, I remember it was like the three of us and my cousins used to come, And my gran used to drop us off in the morning, so obviously she'll have a, they'll do pronto in the morning, so she'll have that.
Let's not talk about food. I'm gonna want food.
Yeah, but the thing is, she'll leave us there, and then she'll go and do the shopping or whatever she's gonna do, her daily chores. This is like more or less daily.
It's like daycare, yeah. He always said, yeah,
and my parents were obviously at work, and they'll have these. They actually knew that we're coming every day, and we'll come every summer or every time holidays. And there was like these little stools underneath where you got to do the food. The food like you used to do standing. And you used to pull the stools out from the bottom, stand on those because we couldn't even see over the top.
Oh my God.
And we used to be pouring the food and we loved it.
I can picture all three of you like in
There's four of us.
Was it four of you?
And because one used to do the drinks.
Okay.
Like the jar and stuff like that. And we were only small. But it felt like this thing that we're doing something like obviously in God's house, so it felt privileged and it was like seva, and not only that, they gave us the responsibility. Obviously, when the people at the back,
and you felt safe.
We felt safe, and they were doing all the cooking and all the big thingy. But even that, they will allow us to get the hold the stuff and. It was like a lot of responsibility, which was nice because it made you feel good as a kid.
Did the auntie and stuff know you? Like, so-and-so's son?
No, they would ask. Obviously, they would ask, oh, God, tere baba dana kiya, tere bibi dana kiya, get up and they'll do all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
because you'll always have someone new, but you always think, be dropping you off. There'll be someone seeing you and say, keep an eye on them.
I think it was the same faces, so it was different.
Can you imagine doing that now, though?
I don't think you can do that now.
You can't, can you?
No. But that was my summer. So can you imagine what did you do? Well, I was at the Qatar every day, and then she'll come back at 3 or 4 o'clock and pick us up and take us back, like obviously before parents came. But we honestly loved it.
Enjoyed it
because I just felt like, oh my God, I'm doing something that I want to be here, and you can hear the part.
Yeah.
So you felt relaxed. You felt you're in God's home. You felt safe. Yeah. And at the same time, you felt like you was doing something.
Yeah, and you're fed as well. There's always something to go back. You're not
good,
hungry.
Man. Honestly, and I don't knock it. Now, as time's gone by, you see how it all changed, the way it was changing. It wasn't like that. It was just the way, it was just
I don't
nice.
think anyone can just go there and drop their kids off no more. Unless it's like a Saturday and you've got
it's lots changed, but we weren't going to be talking about the Qatar and stuff like that. But I think
yours seems so much more fun than ours. When you talk about it with me, I always think, oh yeah, we used to go out to our grands, and that's all it was. You spend the weekend or whatever, summer holidays in the garden, playing about.
Ours was good.
Yeah, that seemed.
It was really like lovely. A lot that you sort of learnt and they sort of spoke, and it was good, and yeah.
Free daycare.
I really
free daycare. Go drop your kids off at the Gurdwara.
We didn't see like that, but obviously clearly it was.
Can you imagine how expensive it is now, though?
But now you couldn't even leave your kids. But anyway, off the subject, the whole thing was, it was like, I didn't know any other Indian kids who would go on holiday anywhere abroad unless they went to India and they came back from India. And even that was more or less winter, so you didn't really know much.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone. But I never saw them go went to Europe, went to Spain, went to, America, and okay. No, it was just the white, pupils and guys and going, wow, they're probably from there.
Is that what they do?
Is that, this, that, the other. But like I said, parents back then, they would just go to work, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and then they'll come home thakke.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk to the kids. If anything, they've had such a long day that they just want to put their feet up or it'll be the food. Get the food out the way with, and then put your feet up.
I'm trying to think. My mum used to come home and then she used to cook, and you can see she's had a hard day. She's been out, and both of my parents worked, so they were like that. And I don't think this was a time when my gran, or even when my gran was around, because before my gran wasn't there, and then obviously she came and started living with us, but even then my mum used to come out. Even now I could sort of see it was like, I just need to cook this food and get it over and done with kind of thing. But she did it. I'm not saying she didn't, but it was like her next job was that I've got to feed my kids, and she'll do that, and then hard sit down. And I think just then you started having the televisions. I don't know about everyone else, but I was probably young when we had ours, and I think they started sort of watching EastEnders and things like that. Just something that just you could feel
Yeah.
comfort in, or I'm not sure if everyone watched it, but
We watched it.
we didn't watch Coronation Street. We watched EastEnders, but
There were certain times we couldn't watch it. We had to turn it off, and then sometimes when it got a bit too much.
at 7:30.
Yeah, we went. Yeah, there was times.
Well, how much was going to happen at 7:30?
There's rude stuff in there. People were kissing. We're not allowed to watch it.
Dirty Den.
I'm telling you.
Dirty Den.
And you don't want to watch it, and your dad's gone out, and you're like, okay, keep a listen out on the door, and then as soon as you hear the key turning, you like turn it off or turn it elsewhere.
So your dad just came home from work. Would he eat and just go out?
My dad would come home. The food would be already made for him. No, he'd have his food. No, he wouldn't. Actually, he'd want to have a drink first, like a beer. That's what men do before they eat. I find that really weird.
No, you can't.
How can you drink on an empty stomach?
You gotta have a beer before you eat. Oh,
I can't do that. So he'd have a beer, and then he'll probably eat
first, and then you gotta eat. You can't drink a beer.
Yeah, but then it was different though, because the jobs that he had, I think he worked for himself.
Yeah, but how is that different then? Yeah, I work for myself. I can't remember. So does that mean that I should be able to drink a beer every night and be okay with it because I work for myself? The furthest
I can remember is when he had his weekend job where he did filming, and that would be all over the place. But his real job where he'd come home 9 to 5 would be when he had the DIY shop, and that would be, I remember that. Then he would come home, shut up, and he'll have a drink. And then he'll eat, and then probably pop out to the pub. But it's mostly weekends.
So he'll have a drink, then he'll eat, then he'll go to the pub. So what's he going to the pub for when he's already drunk?
That's the weekends. I think that weekends he'll go to the pub to meet friends and stuff.
And did your mum go and meet friends and stuff?
How did she? No.
She just
actually, you know what? She had more of a life than I did.
There you go.
She knew everyone in the neighbourhood.
She probably ran to your grand's house every time as well.
You know what?
Every opportunity.
Every opportunity. So she'll be cooking something. She'll make sure everyone's at everything. I'm going to empty the bin out. So she'll take the bin, but I'm popping over to Bibby's. Empty the bin, put the bin inside, and run off to her mum's. And she'll be there for half an hour. Quickly come back before my dad comes.
So she was sly, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get out. Have a little gop shop and come back.
Get away from you lot.
It's just up the road though, and everyone's shaggy.
Get away from you lot. Have a break from the kids.
Yeah.
Go to mum's. Tell her dukh badi kahani to them like nyane se tonde hai. And then next time grand comes over.
No. Kids weren't like how they are nowadays. No one used to sata anyone. We were in our own world.
Yeah, you just do your own thing, didn't you? You didn't need.
Worlds. We didn't pester the kids.
You wanted attention,
but you didn't pester the parents.
But you didn't pester the parents for it. You wished that you had the attention, and when you got it, you was actually quite grateful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically, what we from this is our parents at that time. Their main responsibility was go to work, and then obviously roof over their head, food for the kids, and then just a bit of time to themselves. Either like your mum, like going over to her gran, like her mum's to see her just away from everyone else, or your dad going to the pub to go and meet his friends, have a few drinks,
quickly get back before he comes home.
Yeah.
But
that's what I mean. But it was like having a bit of their own time to do something they want to do for themselves.
I was trying to think, did they ever have time together? When they did, she eventually came back, or he came back. Like, did they sit down together? We'd be in bed anyway, but I don't think they did. Did yours?
My dad didn't probably come home till about 10 bloody o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Forget.
Go to sleep and then wake up in the morning 5 o'clock.
You just think, did you? Because I think for us, the main thing was to make sure we had time together, regardless of if you were working or if I was working.
No, I think I only saw my dad more or less most of the times. It was first thing in the morning before he went to work. I remember that. And then I wouldn't see him until probably the weekend. And my dad didn't even drink. so you know what I mean? So he wasn't going to the pub. Anyway, I'm just surprised my mum didn't question it. And so, what we basically, but nothing to do with health or fitness. No, so nothing to do with that.
No.
And
they hit a certain age and then they start going to the gym, 70s, 60s. That's going to be me because I can't do it.
I don't
myself.
think there weren't many gyms then anyway, I don't think. If there were gyms, they would have been council gyms. But they didn't do any sort of exercise. They didn't think, but you never saw them meditate or do journaling.
The only exercises our parents did was with their mouths when they went over to someone's house and got shop of everyone.
I thought you
don't even. Don't stop.
The only exercise they done was in the bedroom.
I thought you were going to say something else with the mouths anyway. I thought, here we go. Where your mind
maybe
thinks.
That kind of exercise. Okay. Anyway, let's not go there. Sorry if you're not listening. And I was going to say, but they didn't, all the stuff that's coming out now that everyone should do. I think then the generation that we are, kind of thing, sort of like overcompensated for everything that they weren't doing, kind of thing. All the information started coming out. We started thinking that we have to.
No, it didn't. It didn't start coming out then when we got together.
No, not when we got together.
No.
When we got together,
we
would just
started to compensate because of what we lacked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think our priorities became slightly separate and different to them. You know, like they want to be the providers, as long as they feed us and they got the, they're working to build something, which is what they were doing.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, and they were going, and every time, like you said, on the weekends, parents would go and see their other relatives and stuff. Kids come and just play whilst they're having their grown-up conversations. That's what used to be happening. So they weren't like, even when they had the time on the weekends, it wasn't family time, as in family, as in kids and parents time.
Yeah.
It was family time, as in we're going to go and see our brothers and sisters and our parents, and you kids can all play.
It's like dropping
and do
you
something.
back off at the Godvara. You got someone to
thing.
play with, entertain.
Yeah. And so long as you lot are occupied, we're having our conversations.
Yeah.
And then they come back and then we start the same story again. It was never like that time of, let's just us lot sit down. Have you lot been?
And that's
what do you lot need?
Because that's something you probably wanted and I wanted. That's something I really, really make sure I've implemented with all of them since the kids were the three girls, and even now with Veed. He'll come home from school and I'll have the kettle on beforehand. The tea, he likes Indian tea like his dad, and we'll sit and we'll talk. Not that he talks much.
He doesn't talk much,
but it's nice to sit there and ask him questions and. He'll engage. Not always. Yesterday was a bit much, wasn't he? Yesterday was like. He's getting to that stage now. So he's in second year of secondary school. He's now obviously trying to, his dress sense. He's got to fit in, hasn't he? So it's these. I didn't even know of the name before. Like I never knew it existed. It's Hoarding. Never knew of it. Like now he has to have this Hoarding coat. Although I spent so much money on his previous coat. Yep. And yesterday it was about aftershave. I'm like, why do you need aftershave?
Him and all his friends want to know what aftershaves that each, dads have
bringing it to school.
They're going to all bring him into school. And
he's like, can I take dads with me to school? I'm like, or you can ask him. So he's showing photos of all of his friends' collection. I said, that's probably his dad's collection. I was like, okay, so I said, Christmas, we'll put aftershave on your list as well. He goes, I didn't ask for it though. I said, well, you just want to show people.
Well, not aftershave, the OD perfume
scents and stuff, yeah.
I
so he's at that stage at the moment. So he was very chatty yesterday, but he has these moments. He's a boy. But with the girls, they used to have so much to talk about. I'll have the tea on. We'll sit together. One or the other will have something to tell me about, or something to moan about, or someone they don't get on with at school. Yeah. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy, isn't he? He hasn't always
he keeps himself, but that's But that I think what you're saying is that for us, our priority ended up being spending time with the children and making sure we're there for them.
Yeah.
So we went on every single sort of like prom, assembly, school thingy, sports day. We were there.
We'd stand there until wave them off until you can't see the bus any longer.
Oh yeah. And I worked as a police officer, so I always still took time.
You do?
Like I just did my hours, or I changed. Just to make sure that we're there every occasion kind of thing. Yeah. So both of us were there.
Yeah. Oh God, how cute were those memories? I'd walk in and they'd be waving when they're about to do whether it's sports day or on stage doing some kind of play. So
I think things like that changed. And then all of a sudden, when social media come. Soon as all the social media, I don't think it was when Facebook came. I think it was just after everything. After Facebook started it, but I think after that, all of a sudden, it now, or shall I say now, it is that what time are you guys getting up? What time? How many hours you like sleeping? What you like eating? Where you like going? What you like doing for your mental health? Having your own me time, but also having family time, also having couple time, also doing work time, and you're just going, how the heck can any person out there feel that, obviously life feels draining and exhausting when you've got so many things that before the focus was on providing and then having some me time to recharge, to get going. The only thing they probably needed to do was to spend a bit more quality time with their children or each other. Yeah, and that time was there. They were at home. They could have. Didn't have to be every day.
Yeah.
But maybe just on that weekend, instead of going and seeing other relatives and stuff like that, every other weekend maybe going, how about us spend some time together or go to the park together?
I wonder whether they were able to communicate like that and ask each other. It'd be nice if we did. We haven't.
Let's just sit here and watch some movies together.
I wouldn't know that if my mum or my dad would have said,
But that's what I mean.
Did they?
Is it to do with communication then? Is it to do with that, back then, certainly even now, you can see all this toxic masculinity, or all men are being told to behave in a certain way now. Whereas, truthfully, even now, like I said, in 20 years and being in the police force, I realised that majority of times when I worked in the schools for 10 years, and I saw these kids, and then I would see them again kind of thing or whatever, you realise majority of these kids and the people that I dealt with who had mental health issues, who, tried to commit suicide or whatever it might be, and we had to take care of them. I was from back in the days where you're sitting by the cells doing one-to-one observations, not when the CCTV and everything come now. Make sure they don't do nothing to themselves.
Yeah.
And they would tell you all their story, their backstory from their childhood to everything. So we spent 8-9 hours sitting with a person that we don't know and know all their ins and outs. Whereas even a therapist only takes about an hour.
Used to creep me out when you used to come back and tell me all these stories.
So if you think about it, when you look at these kind of things, you just see that there were slight adjustments that could have been made, and majority of times the communication wasn't there. It's just going, okay, what's important to us? We're doing the work for our kids and our family, but then the rest of the time is our time.
Yeah.
So it was basically, me time, but not in the kind of me time that it is now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it was I'm going to work, but I'm going to work because I've got to earn money to look after all you lot, mum and dad. Then mum's there going to Nan's house, on weekends going to Nan's house. You kids just do your own stuff. Dad's there going to the pub, having his drinks and stuff like that. Recharge, re-energize, and now back to the grind of work. There was clearly shows there was the lack of communication in the relationship of how a relationship in a marriage should be, how a relationship as parents should be. We're providing, that's our roles.
Yeah.
And then we're having, and our me time isn't meditating, journaling, going to the gym,
Do you know what?
reading. It was basically being around, maybe that was the meditation, being around other people, talking about your things and relating.
Maybe it was.
If they spoke.
While she was talking, we were saying all of that. It is true, because I don't think they did anything other than, if it was that, it was going to the Gurdwara, just having some, maybe that was me time with family. But the father of the house would go out and work. But I know a lot of women would work from home as well, especially up in
my mum worked
Indian.
out. They both worked at a factory
See,
together.
my mum worked in and out, so there's times where she worked at home. And then there was times when I was in high school that she worked out. But when she worked at home, I found it very unfair, because he'd come from work and he'd come home, and yet she's not only looking after the kids and she's doing the cooking, but to him he's like, yeah, well, I've been outside working, and he's the one who's more tired and angry and doesn't have the time of day or what have you. And when you look at it, she done more than you, because she was at home. And something I think, trying to look after the kids, manage them as well as making sure the food's made, on your return. And she's sewing, so she was making sure whatever had come to her, she'd had finished off. Used to help her with that as well.
Yeah, but I don't think that was just to do with I'm working outside and you working at home so you could cook it. I think it was just a man thing, as in that's your role to cook anyway. Back then, I'm not saying it now, but I think now, both of them, he probably was retired about 5, 6, 7 years ago. Do you think that now, being at home, he turns around every day and says, dear, I'll cook for you?
No.
No, now guess
No,
what?
his is the off the bloody dova.
There you go.
He won't have it made.
So, and this is the point that
You know
I'm
how
making.
you have yours, I can make yours and leave yours for 3 hours and you'll warm them up. He has
it
to
doesn't
have
make no
his
difference to me.
off the dova.
Yeah, so she can make my food and leave it, and I'll just heat
And
it
I
up.
just find that really sad.
And it doesn't matter. Like I always say, like it, you know, even if I was going out on a night out, you know, I know people that all have to have their food cooked. Doesn't matter what time in the morning they come. Never been like that. I would never disturb her. I was just like, I mean, I don't want to wake her up. I'm having time to myself. Why should I put her in any
What about even
inconvenience?
making your packed lunch for work as well? Sandwiches or anything like that? No,
You never did.
Never,
Yeah,
never.
I got my own lunch ready. I'll get up in the morning. I made sure I didn't even wake her up. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, even now.
You tiptoe around me. I don't even know you've left.
Exactly.
And the days you do, I know you're either really tired and you just want to get out and you've made a bit of noise, but I never hear you.
There you go. And
opposite.
never ever she had to think that she's the opposite. She's just
No, I don't think it's just me. I think it's just women because I've seen so many TikToks of men doing like little videos of how they are.
I'm a ninja. I'm a ninja. She, oh boy, she'll put the light on. She'll turn this off, turn that off. I used to have a shower in our ensuite and then leave being ready in my uniform, and and she hasn't heard a drop. Her, I just whoa. But
I'm not the only one, so
but again, it's like I said, you wouldn't have to cook for me or wonder, like, if I'm out and about and you was going to cook or whatever, that, he's out, then, you might ask me, shall I put something on for you? Yeah, okay. And she'll leave it, and it's up to me to heat it or redo it. If not, then that's my problem.
Yeah.
But that's the same, because then I would look at it like, if she went out, would I go and do, like, get up at night and cook you food? And going, here, you come back and you've had a few drinks and maybe let me create you whatever. What do you want, dear?
When you were in the police force, we had a routine of what time we're eating, and I loved how we used to be back then. Even when we had the first house here, the kids, they made sure they had food at 5:30, 6 o'clock the latest.
We didn't eat after that. Did we?
Did not eat after that whatsoever.
Ever. No.
And then even here, it was the same thing until they were in like secondary school. It kind of, last couple of years, they started to fizzle out on wanting whatever they want, whatever was made.
Yeah. Everyone's taste buds, Shane, wanted different things.
But you'd come home from work and then have your roti already made. Sometimes you'd have it as soon as you walk in, or sometimes you did. No, actually, you didn't, did you? You had it a bit later when you did do late shifts.
Oh, and doing late.
Yeah,
obviously.
so I'd have it made beforehand.
But no, late I ate at work anyway, so it wasn't a problem. But the thing is, it was like we sort of did try to. The priorities didn't become of provide. It's my time, and then, or this is. It ended up becoming like, let's make things easy in the relationship. Let's make time for, and we, regarding the time together, our kids, after, like Street said, they used to eat 5:30, so we'll eat about 5:30, whatever it might be, something like that. And then we'll spend time with them, because I even now remember they used to climb over me and they'll like be pulling my hair, they'll be putting makeup on me.
They'll be sent to bed as well, but there's someone or another
But
will come down the stairs.
7:30, but I mean that we used to spend time after they've eaten. They'll be dancing, they'll be colouring, we'll be doing something with them. Yeah. And it was like, then it will be, they got to bed about 7:30, wasn't it? That's what used to happen.
My life was just, we used to do so much. So obviously you'll have one at home anyway before she goes to nursery. Before nursery, even that, I'd be out and about with her doing things. But when they're all at home weekends or after school, we'd have all sorts going on, colouring, baking, dancing. Definitely is one thing we did. They'd run upstairs and get changed about 2 or 3 times, or we'd film it. Many times it didn't. You imagine our weekends when you were at work, that's how our weekends used to pass.
I know.
Sometimes you'd walk home and you'd be like, oh God, I can see them dancing, I'm filming. Most times I didn't film it, and I wish you could film every day, but it was that.
Yeah, and we got all that kind of footage. But that's what I mean. And then when the girls went to sleep at 7:30, they'll still be giggling and up and whatever.
It made me laugh because I was just thinking of the older one. When she got to a certain point, I think in secondary school, she was like, I can't believe you used to make me dance to. Do you know what that song means? Like some R&B rap or something. And I was like, Mom, I can't believe you used to put that on. We used to dance to. I was like, what's wrong with it? I used to love that's the kind of music I used to love. Yeah, but it's so inappropriate now that I know what it means. I was like, okay.
It's a bad mother. Don't do what she did. Yeah, so after that, that's when we used to have our time. 7:30, then we'll sit together, and then I have a couple of hours, and then again next day. So for us, it ended up becoming a priority of spending time with the kids and having some time, me and you time. And then also, I used to still go to the gym. I used to fit that in.
You did?
But
You always did, yeah?
yeah, so I still used to go to the gym, but I didn't do all the journaling, meditation, and
Do you think you needed to?
No,
Exactly.
I was actually happier. I was actually happier eating the food as well that we used to be making. Then when all this extra information are coming, what's good, what's bad, what not to eat, what to eat, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? We had a drink. I mean, we never overdone it.
No.
We had one here or there, maybe, but not during the week. We never really fancied it. And when the weekend comes, we'll have one or two. That's it, and that will be just like a chilled out thing with a meal.
So if you see,
So
what we've
life
done,
was simple.
what we did is
Or felt simpler, and
what we
better.
didn't have growing up, which we would have loved to have had. We did that as well as doing what every parent would have done back then anyway.
Yeah.
Provide, cook, clean, but made sure we did that side of what we lacked in.
The only thing, I mean, even though we went on holiday, when we could, during the year, it was like once if it was, we did take them to the parks and those kind of things.
We did a lot of that.
Yeah, so we done that often as well.
I can only remember, like, when I was younger, about once or twice here or there if we were lucky. We did it all the time. Every week, if not a weekend, it'll be summer holidays, constantly doing things like that. Why can I always remember 1 or 2 times back when I was younger? Did you go a lot to the park?
I don't. I went to a park a lot, but not with my parents. I went to a park so often with my cousins, with my friends. I only remember going to the park with my dad once. And the only reason, I'm not saying he only took me once, but I only remember it once. It's because we had to go and pick up my mum from somewhere. I don't know if it was work or somewhere. And so he decided to, to go and pick her up. Obviously, normally we would have people looking after us, so there was no one looking after us. So I don't know what the reason was, because it didn't normally happen. And he ended up taking us in the car. And so he stopped at the park, waited whilst then, but obviously he wasn't on his mobile phone. There weren't no phones back then. But I just see him he was just standing around whilst we were just on the swings and things like that. And then he said it's time to go. That's it. So it wasn't like he wasn't involved kind of thing.
My granddad took us a fair few times, I remember that.
So I don't recall going to the park with my mum, to be honest, at all, which is strange.
Did you ever go take a fair? With them?
I don't know. I went to safari parks and those kind of things, Blackpool, whatever, those kind of places, but I don't recall anything else. I'm not saying I didn't. I think if I did go to any park with my mum, it would have been West Park, and that would have only been the case because my mummy, Mossy, and everyone else would have been there. Everyone would have been together, and so all the kids gone to the park, and they all decided to come to the park, not because she took us to the park, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not that I can recall anyway. But we were always at the park, so it didn't make no difference to us. I don't think it mattered. What did matter was it was nice, and something that my dad didn't do. When our uncles, like my uncles there, when I used to go to Wolves, they used to come and play football maybe once in a full moon, probably once in a year. They'd decide to come to the park, and us lads are already playing, and they decide to join in, and you're thinking, wow, and you used to feel great because I used to go, wish my dad would do that. And not only that, it felt nice that they were doing it, but at the same time, my mind, all my cousins couldn't feel like that because it was their dads.
Yeah.
And I would always feel like, you know what, I wish I could do that with my dad because I was very sporty and athletic kind of thing, and I loved everything. I used to play all the stuff, but I'd never done anything with him. So if that was the only sort of strange thing for me, and I know that they wouldn't have understood or saw me thinking or feeling like that. So it was cool, oh my God, it's nice. Uncles are playing with us, this is great, and get to tackle them and stuff like that. But everyone was playing, but can you see how even as a kid, your mind, because the circumstances are different, you're going, wish my dad would do this with me, but yet you're still trying to play, but your mind's somewhere else. Crazy. But I think then when all this more and more social media started coming, more and more people talking about work-life balance and what people should do, I think it just took so much on people that, I'm not saying people weren't looking after their own selves. Like now, like you said, our parents used to go out and do their own little things. They didn't see it as, I don't think they looked at it and going, I need me time or whatever. They just went, this is our routine, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it did sort of recharge them, refresh them, give them a break, right? Then we done our thing, like you said. I would pop to the gym, or we done whatever it was. It was like basically going, we're having some time. I don't think you did.
That's why I kind of stress so much on TikTok when I go on lives. I always try and tell the moms that
You
make sure
didn't.
have time
You
to-
just made family time, and you made me like us time. But because you was always around there. I don't think you had ever you time. No.
This is what I think is so important. This is what I really, really try and
Because you didn't
about.
even like get to go to you wasn't one who went to mum's or friends or sister. Every now and then, when you went out, but even then it was like us went out.
It was always with someone.
Yeah.
It was always doing something for someone, nothing for me.
Yeah. No. See?
No.
And now I think what's gone on and what's happened with the world is there's too much of think about yourself, do all these millions of stuff, and then also make time for those other things. And people are just like getting so exhausted of, I've got to look a certain way, dress a certain way, eat a certain thing, train a certain way, walk 10,000 steps, drink loads of water, not drink alcohol, not go here, not talk to this person, cut this person out.
You and many other people absorb stuff like you. I don't think you do it anymore, but you did. I never did. I never have. And I think mainly is because I know it's not going to last with me. Now, for example, just like I started journaling, and that was in January. There's this app on my phone, and I thought, okay, I started doing it, and I did it for about a month. But then I realised it was late at night that I'm doing. Not late at night, it'll be about 7 in the evening. And okay, it's cool because you can even add photos to it as well. It's better than me writing. I hate writing. And I never end up picking my books up to read them. I've never have, like, oh, what have I written, or So I started journaling in this app, and you can add photos. So when we've been for walks and stuff, I'd put the photo in. It'll actually calculate, how much you've walked, your steps and everything. And I realised it was okay to begin with, but then all of a sudden I just couldn't sleep. And I don't know whether that's because everything's on everything you've written about.
Or maybe because you're doing it on your phone and you shouldn't be looking at the blue screen whilst you're doing it before you go to bed.
That quite long. No, it was on, come on, it was about 7, 6:30, 7. It's got a timer on it when I do it. So it'll give me, because we've eaten by then, and it gives me that alert that you've got to do this. So it's not late, and there's enough time to switch off before I go to bed. But I think it's all that mentally, all the stuff that you've wrote on there, especially when I was going through a bit, probably played up, subconsciously in your back of your head whilst you're sleeping and stuff. And I just got 3 days I couldn't sleep, and I stopped doing it, and I fell asleep the following day.
I'm just wondering if listeners or viewers, they do any of that journaling. I mean, I do journaling, and I've probably done it now for probably about 15 years, maybe.
See, but the thing is, when you journal, is it just because you feel like you're getting it all out of your head onto a paper? Okay. Would you look back at it and read it and think, oh shit, did I actually is that what I was like? Did I?
Quite possibly. But I think for me is, guess what? I started journaling when I joined the police force in 2001, because we have to have we have to have a pocket notebook where we have to write where we were, what we did, what we said, because all this thing is evidence.
Yeah.
So it goes to court. So if anything goes accordingly, even if we're on foot patrol, we'll go foot patrol between this time to that time. Went to this person's location, we attended the location at this time. The person said this to us, I said this to them, and then, he threw his right punch towards my face, and I dodged him, and I cuffed him from this hand. Every single thing in detail is written. It doesn't matter, and this is a daily thing. So I think already I had got into the sort of, position of being able to do a diary kind of thing, but that was to do with work.
Yeah.
So my shift starts at this time, and then you're off duty. It finishes off duty, blah, blah, blah. Next day, and it's all set like that. So anyone wanted to see where I was, what I was doing, how, it's all there.
You can write whatever you wanted, even if it was there.
You don't. Because it is evident. If anything was to happen and you was to write anything else, I mean, you obviously, it's that whole honesty and integrity. What are you going to write? I mean,
it's just a thought of that.
There's sometimes you probably would write foot patrol from 9 o'clock till 12. But you obviously wouldn't write that. You'll just say foot patrol 9 o'clock, and you might end up just going 12 o'clock I came back in. Because during that 9 till 12, nothing else happened. You're not going to say, I bumped into Mrs. Miggins and she asked me how, can you get my cat? I mean, unless you have to get the cat off the, have you seen my cat or something? You're like going, it all depending on what it was. I mean, if you...
Would you have to, like, so say if Miss Miggins, whatever, did stop you and say, my cat's up the tree?
If she said that would also, I would have to write that. Guess what? I dealt with it. Because at the end of the day, if then all of a sudden I, number one, didn't take the cat out of the tree, or number two, something was to happen to the cat, or something was to happen to Mrs. Miggins, they would turn around and say, you was the last person who spoke to Mrs. Miggins. She told you about a cat. You said you couldn't care less. She had a heart attack and died. And that was your fault.
That itself would put me off on joining the police force, having to write a journal. So every move is. You
would. That's what we had to do. But like I said, it would have been like that. And then you also put in your lunch. See, now you all know about packing notebooks, what they have to do.
Did at any point you have to go back, though, because you needed to, because something had happened or something had occurred?
Yeah. So you could be going on a journey and you write down, this is what I'm doing. I could be in the car going on the way on this, and all of a sudden we detour and go somewhere else and go and redirect it to such and such.
Yeah, but did you have to look back because something had happened or someone had accused you of something?
Yeah.
Oh, you had?
Yeah. That's what it is. And not only that, even when you arrested someone or whatever happened, they have to take, the courts need that. Okay. You have to photocopy all that. That's all evidence.
Wow.
That becomes your statement.
I
kind
couldn't
of thing.
be a copper at all. I hate writing.
That's your initial first statement, is that, before you write anything else.
There's a few of my books, old books that I found where I started and I always end up stopping. So I know, I started with this app and I don't know what it was. I think it's because, again, it was a bit of a, I was going through stuff and it played up at night time. But yeah, so I've stopped that as well. And looking back at a few books that I do have, it depresses me because, maybe it is because you've been through so much and you're writing at that point because you've been told to, whether it was me with, I've seen a therapist and they've told me to journal it, and you find those little odd pieces of paper or you find those books and you're like, oh my God, did you go through that?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I have looked back, like you said. I mean, I still do it and I enjoy doing it because it is like you're decluttering your head. It's not just me writing the things that I've got to do, but it's also the things that I'm feeling and things that didn't work out or day was bad or whatever it was and the reason behind it, whatever it might be, I'll put it all on there. And different things, different days, so it's not like, but I have sometimes looked back at something and read it and I was going, wow, I wrote that. Was that really me? Did I actually feel that or think that?
I think that's the only thing it does, really, is when you look back.
But then it makes you realise that you was obviously in a different place and you was actually feel like you was a different person to who you are now. Yeah. Kind of thing. Who was this person? Because that's what I'm thinking. Who was it? What was I going for? What?
Yeah, I suppose it's more in detail because I can look back anyway. I wouldn't need to journal, and I know there's been.
But you don't remember everything.
Yeah, that is the thing. That is one thing. But I've started to do that through vlogging and filming.
I mean, for me, it's even been like diets. I've written like, what I was eating during a certain period when I was trying to get my 6-pack abs, which I achieved. And now all I usually have to do is, not that I enjoy doing it, but all I do is going, okay, 2008, I think it was 2008 that, I got my 6-pack abs or whatever it was. And what was I eating during that 12, 14 week period? And then I just look at it and going, number one, I don't want to do that again. Number two, oh my gosh, that was quite good. That was really good discipline from me. Number three, how sad was this? You know what I mean?
Now you understand.
Oh my gosh.
What we went through, having put up with you.
I did it.
The only thing that's sad about that, actually, is there's one recipe that you made, and I keep telling you about it, and you never make.
The girl said that. The girl said that.
Creamy one?
I think so. They said. Dad, are you talking about the pasta one?
No, it was chicken. In there. Yeah, so it's a creamy white pasta.
Yeah, it was chicken with pasta.
Know. It was so good.
There was different ones. The girl said that as well. Dad, when you was going through your no, I've got all the.
Why haven't you ever made it?
I've got them all. You know who I got all those recipes and menus?
I do.
So.
But you need to make that one because I always think that's the only one. Everything else is a lot of shite.
I got it from the chap before he became big and famous. The recipes was from the guy who trained Hugh Jackman for Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's who I got it from before he became big and famous.
Well, you need to make that dish again.
I got all
and I'll tag him in it and say, this is the one that, I've been craving for years. He's finally made it me. Thank you for sharing the recipe. whoever you are, mate. I'll tag you.
And yeah. So, but yeah.
No. You didn't answer that. You always, sometimes I say things and you just like kind of track off onto something else. You never, answer.
I will. I've got them. I've got them in the cupboard, man.
Because it's me I've been doing all the
You know
cooking.
me from now on. I don't get rid of anything.
Fucking tell me about it, because, excuse my language, you can't get rid of it. The other day, I spent an hour like dismantling, cutting up boxes. The amount of boxes this arsehole, I'm going to say arsehole because you do my head in. It doesn't. I can be nice to you and say why.
We're supposed to talk about work-life balance, not about me being an arsehole.
It doesn't always have to be a podcast. We can track off to everything. So why, again, even this, you want to make sure
I'm trying to
get away from it.
I'm trying to get it off me.
No, oh my God, there's an air fryer.
Is anyone else like this though?
I've never known anyone in my life.
I don't like chucking away boxes.
Are you fucking so
I don't
stupid.
like chucking away boxes of the things that I bought.
Okay, it's 2 years ago we've had an air fryer. It's in the garage. He's got his computer's boxes still in the garage, and they're so big. You could make a mansion out of all these boxes that I've got. So the other day, you've only got a bin. Wow, they're not that big anyway. The bin men came yesterday. Have they emptied it, by the way?
I don't know.
They did.
I don't know. I've got to go and have a look. I hope
they have, because there was so much in there. I had to stand outside. Even the Gwandi, the neighbour, came next door and she saw me, and I was there with, I couldn't find the scissors, so I got a knife in the end, slicing these boxes away, trying to shoving them in this one bin that we have that's recycled. And there's still yet more. He keeps hold of everything. What the hell? Why? This is another habit I really want to break off, is because I feel like in the back of his head he always thinks something's going to go wrong with my computer or my...
It's not that. I just like keeping boxes.
Don't even.
I just like looking after my stuff.
Steve, it's so stupid. Really you're a hoarder. You've got no room in the house.
It's just boxes. It's not everything else. I'm not getting paid.
But what are you going to do with them?
Anyway.
No, first I want you live on air. Not live, we're not live, but I wish it was. To say that I'm not going to keep any more boxes. The other day he said to me, why I'm keeping it? He goes, you're saying, my funeral, don't spend too much money. I'll stick you in one of these boxes and just shove you down the river. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. As long as they're coming to use, because I don't know what the hell they're doing in the frigging garage. Can you just decorate them a little bit for me?
This is where someone's going to go, Kai, if I said that to my missus, she'd go...
I just said, can you put some sprinkly glitter or something on the boxes and make it look pretty before you
burning a box? You know what I mean?
You got to the other day.
Spend some money on a box and then you got to burn it. You never say
and not even that.
And you can't even use it.
You're chopping down trees to make these. Why?
Exactly. There's all these boxes, man. If anyone needs to bottle up,
that's why he's
stick them in there.
A new business.
Boom. You know what I mean? Recyclable.
Guys, you can have what was
it? It's recyclable.
I'm trying to remember the names on there. There's something GL. I don't even know what it was. You've got a table that came through. What are the names of these companies? Take a pic.
We're not sponsored,
we got Goodman's, we got Sony. I don't know, there's all these names of boxes in the back. You've got a dog you want to get rid of. You've got a air fryer box.
Back to where we were. So, do you think there's such thing? Yeah, because this is going to be about 2 hours long otherwise. Do you think there's such thing, or is there a way of having work-life balance, or should people just make sure that obviously works needs to be done regardless? Work's there, isn't it? You know what your hours are.
Yeah.
You do need some time to yourself.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And what we've realised is that is a must. It doesn't mean like you said, the woman turns around and says, oh, you know what I mean, I'll be at home looking after the kids, and the man goes, well, I need some time to myself. As in, I'm doing all my journaling, but I've got to go to the gym. But I've also got to go and see my friends. I've also got to go and see my family. I've also got to do this.
Kenny, with just a man being at work 7 days a week, 5 days a week, wherever it was back in the days, women used to respect that back then. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they did. They felt like the man deserved it because he's the one who's gone out there. He's brought the money in the house. He's been working his ass up from God knows what time in the morning, got up and he's
many times doing something he doesn't want to do.
Doing something that he doesn't want to do, yes,
Which even now, loads of men are still, and women, there's women as well, that are doing jobs that they don't want to do, but they've got to do to pay the bills, don't they? Yeah. Certainly with the climate and what we're living in now.
Yeah, there's that. And as people come from different countries who come here and having to work stupid hours paid nothing, and then the partner does feel and appreciate what they're
That's
doing,
what it
and
is,
then
isn't
they
it?
allow them and do whatever you want to.
And then it goes to the whole love languages as well, acts of service and all that, and who's providing and doing whatever. They
Yeah,
just
but
feel
back then I don't think, again, the communication wasn't there. They just wouldn't be able
they just
to.
felt that that's your role and that's my role,
Yeah,
and
I
I've just got to
think
keep
because
doing
everyone
it.
else did the same thing.
Yeah,
Trying
same
to
hymn
change
sheet,
or
same thing.
want to change something up, or say, change something. It's just, hold on, what? Who does that? I don't know anyone does that. There's no, so yeah.
Yeah. So
With me, I didn't do anything like for myself. So I always talk about that to people. Like, make sure you do, like, have that time to yourself once a week or something. And that doesn't mean taking a little toddler with you, because my time out was with the toddler.
yeah.
And I didn't like, not that I loved it, the other things I can't
You
say. I was gonna
loved
say
it.
I loved that side of it. But now my time out is anytime I want. Like the other day, you peed me off and I was like, oh, I'm freaking get out. No, it wasn't peeing me off. I just need to get out. And it's like any time of the day is, yeah.
Yeah, so now
Making up for
things have changed, and that's the thing. I think, like I said, work everyone needs to do. Certainly in this climate, I mean, you got to do it anyway, but you got to provide not just for my family this day and age. Even if you're single, you've got to look after yourself. You don't make the money. What you're going to do? Then you do need to do something for yourself, whatever it might be. And that's the only thing I was trying to say was, it can't be like I was saying. Yes, I understand if you are in a relationship where the man is working, or if it's a woman working, the man's at home. If you're both working, it should still be okay equally. It can't be, well, I've been to work, therefore I don't need to. As in, I need me time, and I'm going out either today with this friend, tomorrow with that friend, and tomorrow I'm playing football over there, then I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, but also the priority needs to be some time in that week of me and you time as well. Or now it's your time to go out and I'll be here,
Yeah.
If you've got kids, I'll look after kids, you go and do something. So you've also got that, but we've also got our time together as well.
Because you only resent it, won't you, later?
I think it's when people turn around and going, well, I'm going to work and then I need to go to the gym. Because like, you don't go to the gym anyway, and you don't like going to the gym, but it doesn't mean like, well, I need to I go to the gym, I like the gym, so I like football, therefore I've got things to do, therefore I am going out. You haven't, so you sit at home. That isn't the way to think about it. It is just like, okay, you've got those, but even if you're at home, then you want to do your own thing and not be disturbed.
Yeah. And I think, again, it is because with how life has changed, and with just from our own experience, wanting to be there for the kids and everything, making sure that you're giving them the time as well as going to work, as well as doing whatever you want to do. You don't want to look back and resent it that you didn't have that time to yourself, which you needed. And, say, even like, you don't mean to, but it's like saying it out to the children or even to the partner. Like, well, I didn't do anything I don't think I've ever done that. I never did anything for myself, because I think I just really enjoyed my time bringing up the kids. And I enjoy where things are now. I can just go out and do what I want to do. I still don't do what I should be doing. You know what I mean? But definitely for the women who are not only like, there for the kids, but they're working as well. So they're going out for work as well. I think it's a definite for them once a week at least. If you want to be there fully, because I see a lot of women who go to work and they say, yeah, well, that we're there present for our kids. Are you really? Are you actually enjoying every minute of your time with that child? Even if they're having tantrums, or even have to make tea constantly, you're doing the food, but yet you've gone to work. Are you really, hand on heart, can turn around and say that I'm happy and I'm there always for my child? And you can only be there for your child, if you are happy. And I think happiness is having that time to yourself, doing something that you enjoy as well, and not giving up on that. Finding something, that brings you joy, and you can come home and be around those children and be present for them, and you deserve that as well, and they deserve to see you happy. It's weird because I don't know, it just wasn't me. Maybe I just didn't think about me then, and I was just happy doing what I did. But the only thing I can look back at is think, I wish I did probably do some class, or looked into what I probably would have liked to have done. There was nothing, because I came from a place where you weren't allowed to do anything. I didn't really have the desire to go out and do, I don't know, pole dancing. That's probably something I'd want to do now. And I'm still not doing it.
Pole dancing.
There's just something that brings you joy.
I will never stop you. I'll get the pole. You start the dancing, and
that brings you joy or something.
It'll bring me joy.
But yeah, we know it brings you joy. But just that, I think then you can say, if I can happily sit there and listen to mother and turn around and say, yeah, I'm so happy. I not only do I go out and I bring in money, I'm there for my kids. I'm fully there for my kids. I enjoy my work. Because yeah, but are you actually doing something for yourself? That if you are, you're doing things for you, even if it's twice a week, weekend. Then I can turn around and say, yeah, you've had that time out. You are fully there. You've got that energy. You've re-energized. You're not taking all your stress out. Because you come back from work as a mother in this day and age, tired as hell, whether it's in the office and you're sitting behind a desk, it doesn't matter. You're listening. You're having to work and make sure everything's complete.
You want to switch off.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got to come home.
Yeah.
And do everything you've got to do. I know men take part a lot in it now with bringing up the children.
Yeah.
But can you really hand on heart say that, I'm fully there for my children with everything else you've got going on?
And it is about re-energizing. So you are there fully present for them.
It'd be nice to ask the child that, well, is your mum, does she seem angry? Because you'll know your answer then. You can say, right, you are. But that child... Even though mum just seems tired all the time, you can't even talk to her.
She's doing it, but she looks like she doesn't want to be here.
Yeah,
kind of thing,
she's not really there with us, but she is. She's just trying to get it out the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, all I feel like is that everyone, and not to listen too much. And this is me saying it, even though it's a podcast. Don't listen to too much that the social media is telling you that all the things that you have to do, they might not bring you pleasure. Or might not bring you a feeling of joy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone is different. So it doesn't mean like, God, if you are stressed out, you know what? If you are fully stressed for work or whatever else is going on and you need me time, your thing might not be sit there and meditate. Your thing might not be yoga. It might not be, what half the things that these people are telling you, going for a walk. It might be just I want to lie in the bath. It could be just having a tea. Could be just I want quiet time. I want to read a book. It could be just I just want to go for a drive away from everyone, listen to the music.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Majority of times, what I'm saying is, social media is telling people what they should be doing with their free time, which is their me time, which will bring them happiness and joy. What they're not saying is, there's nothing wrong if you just want to binge watch Netflix, your favorite program, for about 2 or 3 hours. If it makes you feel relaxed and happy and feel that you recharge, it's your time.
Yeah.
It's you. You're putting everything in for your work. You're putting the stuff that you need to get that time so you can do more for the people around you and be present fully. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So, and I think if you can get that right, that's where the work-life balance is. It just being there doesn't mean you're there.
True.
And you could be anywhere. You could be going places with people and your mind could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And certainly in this day and age with the phones and devices, everyone's distracted. No one's really present all the time. And the thing is, but what if, here's my work, got that done. This is my time to do the things that I want to do for me, to feel recharged and happy in myself. And now, and it's not all the bullshit that everyone else is telling me that I should be doing. I want to do my thing. And then my partner's got their time, and maybe try to see if you can get your own me times more or less at the same kind of time. You do your thing, I do my thing. Unless obviously you got kids to look after, then I can understand. But it's common sense. But then so that when you've got the other time, you got time for each other.
Yeah.
You need that too.
For each other, yeah.
To show that you communicate and you're present again, so you can work on that and grow.
Yeah, there's definitely. It also makes me think of in kids as well. With my, I know I have myself. Like I'd make sure I have me time individually with them.
Yeah.
You used to.
Yeah.
I used to
individually.
Together as well. We'll go for coffee, and this is not just like recently because they're young adults.
Because they're all like different things, don't they?
Not just because they're young adults now that they like to do that. We've done that. We go out for coffee. But when they were younger, I'd take them out for coffee individually. And I've got proof. I've got photos. We used to do it quite often. If one weren't happy to come, then it'd be two of them. If not, then we'll be one or the other just on their own with me, having that time. And I really enjoyed that. And it's like those moments, I feel like parents, we give them all time together. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
You got to be there. But I feel like individually as well, to get to know them personally as well. I wish I could have done more of that. I think in our case, it was a fact of,
how do you leave the other two? Or
that's one thing. You used to always be at home anyway, but it was always financially. When you go out, you want to spoil them. You want to be doing something. So it was always that. So you could do it as often as you could. So that's, whereas Veed is different. So girls, you'd want to take them out, where he wants you time with you. Just he'd want to be at home, and that's happy enough. Like now, last night, you'd gone to bed, and he's going through those stages now. So he's coming on 13, so he's going through his growing pains. And yesterday he got you to massage him, didn't he? And that, to him, I know he appreciates it. You're there for him. After you'd gone, he was trying to now come to me. I was like, Mom, I was like, your dad's just massaged your back with my neck, and I was trying to talk to him as well. So, and he's, what was really sweet? He put his head on my lap. The TV was on. Now he's not looking at the TV. And Steve, he was there for ages, and I thought, has he fallen asleep? So I'm stroking his hair as well. So I've stopped massaging his shoulder, and I've gone onto his hair, and I was at his hair for like a good half an hour. No phone, no nothing. First I was talking to him about just like, baby, you're gonna be having a lot of changes and this, that, and hopefully you and Daddy can do things together and stuff like that. And he was just listening, and I thought, leaning over each time, is he asleep? And those kind of things, just asking him questions, wanting him to speak. I know that means a lot to him, because if I said to him, do you want to go out for tea? He'll say yeah.
Yeah.
He'll go for the tea, but he'll want to rush back home.
Yeah.
Take me for food, come back home. He likes to be home.
He likes home.
And he likes you to, having that little chit chat on your own with him.
Yeah.
He and I think the kids do need it, because they want to.
And we don't do it together. We do it
express individually.
I'll have my conversations with him, and you'll have yours. And
that's one thing I wish we was able to do a lot more, because the girls would like to go out, and it was always the money factor and stuff. Yeah, I think that's another thing. If anyone's listening and you've got, a few children, with us we had 4, like having to be there individually for them as well, I think is very important.
Yeah. So I'm just like wondering what the next sort of, like, this is our life, and obviously we explained what our parents, I'm not going to go into the next one because I ain't got a clue, but that we've done our parents, we've done what we did before social media came, and how we were raising our kids, and what we were doing in our life. Honestly, I felt like that time before all that happened was so much of a happy and simpler life.
It was so much.
It was less noisy.
Honestly.
And you did things, and I said to you myself that in our house it felt like there was more light and joy, because there wasn't so much everyone in their own worlds on their devices, lost too much information. Because even now when you talk to your kids, you can see that they're telling you something that they heard or read is coming out their mouths. It's not them. It's basically what they've seen or someone else has said, or it's like they read something, hear something, and they somehow associate whatever they're feeling or thinking. It could just be a little argument or disagreement, and they go, oh gosh, maybe I'm gone through what this person's gone through, and then they make it that's my thing, that's why I'm feeling it, and then they make it personal.
Seriously, it's like,
I think all the kids are
doing
that. But
they do make it personal. Just now, like for example, a fair few, I was asking you, has it died down yet or not? This thing about being a cat or a dog or something or another. That was that went on for ages, didn't it? For a little while. I was like, what is this? And everyone seems, the kids would be like, well, it is what it is, and it's like, trying to explain it. Now it's now you don't hear about it.
Yeah, it'll be something. The thing is, the more things people evolve, the more things change, the more things will just keep on coming. It'll be a next thing. Something else will happen. It's just like everyone's more or less fighting for something or fighting for a voice, but they not doing it. Everyone's vocal, I understand, but everyone's more or less thinking about themselves. I think the world's becoming more like, I know people are saying you should think about yourself, but now it seems like many people are going, I'm only going to think about myself.
Do you think that's a plan? No.
Maybe.
We had this lockdown.
Maybe.
And
maybe people
just
want
destroy
that
everything.
because if the family unit doesn't work, then basically nothing's going to work, is it? And maybe that is the thing.
People are not going to succeed. They're going to be lonely. They're going to be sad. The depression.
So what you're going to have? You need the NHS. You need a therapist. There's not enough therapists to go around everyone.
And to be honest, therapists, from experience myself, can't always say it's the best thing.
Yeah, the thing is, therapists say what they've been like taught. At the end of the day, I know there's some great therapists. I'm not knocking them all, but at the end of the day, remember when people are going to therapists and they're giving their story, whatever it might be, it's coming from that person's perception of what they've gone through, what they felt. But just like me being a ex-police officer, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
I know, you know what I mean, these people, it's what you sort of perceive and what you feel. But sometimes if you go there and I turn around and say, my wife is a bitch, she makes my life a misery and blah, blah, blah. There might have been a time when I actually was feeling that. You know what, she doesn't listen to me, I can't even communicate with her, and she does my head in, and I can't even live, I can't breathe, blah, blah, blah. And I was to say that to a therapist, they'll obviously listen, but they don't know your story. I'm telling them what I'm feeling and what I assume you're making me feel.
Yeah.
And the picture that I'm creating maybe relate to whatever I've been to in the back. But they don't know your side. So they can only give me the advice and the information to help me from what I'm telling them. So from them, my wife probably is this person who isn't approachable, I can't communicate with her and blah, 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 you know what I mean? But what if they met you and then you said your side? And then all of a sudden, maybe that's why marriage counsellors work totally different, but then that should also be the case with, you know, like this day and age when kids go to counsellors and say, my parents, you know what, they said this and made me feel like this and all that. Maybe then they should have them both together.
They do have family counselling, but I think,
But do they sort of, you know, put that forward that, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I know what you're saying. But it'd be nice to actually speak to your parents.
This is the thing about social media now, though, because kids are speaking up, you know, do this, do that, or like you're saying, the therapists are saying what they do. But it's more like having that communication again. They're trying to break that away from the children.
Yeah, because the more people feel isolated and broken, the less help they're going to get from the people that matter. Because remember, back in the day, there was no therapist.
No.
Right? There was a community and a family that if you've got issues or you're feeling, they had less than what we got now. They had less food, no warmth, no electricity, no nothing. You know, all they had was a community and a family. Whatever they experienced and feeling, they had each other. Made them get through it. Didn't have hospitals and all this. Now you've got all this stuff and yet everyone feels lost, scattered, alone, depressed, unhappy. Why? Because, like I said, the government is like making everything higher, doing what they are. It's the more we isolate people, the more broken they will be, and the more that you would need all these services to be running to look after these people who are broken.
Yeah.
If everyone was there to look after each other, you don't need these services.
The waiting lists are so crazy, but yet the people who really desperately need it, because they've gone, you know, they need it. Of course, therapy isn't. I can't say it hasn't helped me.
I'm not saying it's not helpful.
But there's some people. But
need
now
it.
people are just taking advantage of it. They're just, you know, what we've fallen over. I don't know, just the stupidest things, and they want need therapy. That's what I'm saying. But then there's people who actually desperately need it because they've been through so much. You know.
But the thing is, there's not enough
because of this social media. You keep hearing all this stuff, and kids are following suit, or you know, couples are following suits, as in relationships, or you know, they're breaking point, and they need some kind of advice. And
everyone's been isolated.
They can't just communicate.
And that's what COVID actually did originally, didn't it? It was like kept the people in their rooms, houses, isolated them, and then made people feel that, you know what, I can live without this person, or I don't need that, or I can take care of myself. And then all of a sudden that sort of started happening. It feels like even more, because remember, the government's main priority isn't the people, it's about making money.
Of course
it's about making the country run.
Of course, you were telling me the other day, yesterday you were saying about the schools now, what's going on?
Even the schools, the thing is, why do you think that, you know what, if they actually cared about children in schools, right, like they turn around...
This is a valid point.
Like schools, if you think about it, if they cared about children, like now there was a school just recently that the teachers are actually looking at people's houses when the kids ain't come to school and parents are phoning and saying kids ill. They're actually going to the house to see if there's any mail, like, you know, still on the floor. They're checking the bins to see if they've been emptied. They're checking if even the gas flue, is it on? So have they gone on holiday, right? And they're saying that it's the kids' care and welfare, that's a priority for us. But the thing is, it's not that. It's basically, if the kids ain't coming into school because parents have taken them away, I mean, kids' welfare, they're with their parents. The parents are looking after them.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're in danger. You know, that, oh, we care about the kids. It's all right when the schools want to have a strike.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or if there's polls and voting for the government, that's okay, because that day does not ruin a child's education if he misses that day. When the teachers go on strike, the teachers are going on strike. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but they're going on strike because so we can make money, more money for the work that we're doing, so we can look after our family. Okay? So what are these parents doing when they're taking the kids away? They can't take them during, school holidays because it's too expensive. So they want to spend quality time with their children, but they can't afford it because everything's too expensive. So they're taking them during term time because that's all they can afford. Family time, term time, that's also care. Kids learning something, having that quality time.
Memories to look back at.
Exactly. And then what the government's doing is, when parents are doing that, they're punishing them by fining them. Sorry, because they want to keep you trapped. You can only work with the way we're telling you lot to work. You lot can't be happy. You lot can't escape. You lot got to pay. If the government really cared about kids, then they'll turn around and say, no, kids need to be in school. Fine. But when you lot need to take holidays during the school holidays, we would actually either help towards the cost of the family holidays.
Yes.
Yep. We'll put that money so you lot can have that family bond. So you lot are there to support each other and show love to each other. As in that you care. We're there to support. If those teachers can fight for money that we deserve to have for a pay rise, and also the firemen, also the trains and all that, why can't parents be given money to take their children away during that time because they know it's going to be, or get these travel agents to put the prices down during that time? So it actually makes parents going, well, guys, there's no need of you lot going taking your children on a holiday during school time, because it's cheaper if you go on the holidays. And everyone will go, oh, you know what? Exactly. My kid is going to school day in, day out, and I'm going to take my kid on holiday in July or August, and I've got enough window of going there so everyone can go and we can afford it. That's helping kids. That's showing care. So we're giving this child education. He's our priority, but we're also allowing this child to have family time that's affordable to the families, so they can actually go out there and have that close-knit bond that also helps them grow and increase their merit. But no.
They're increasing their...
They just want dysfunctional families. They want to create, everyone's lone, secluded, away, broken, not them, or never went on holiday anywhere.
The fear they put in you, though,
because those parents can't take those kids to school. Those kids nowadays turn around and go, my friend's all gone on holiday, I can't go on holiday. Not everyone's got the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And certainly with the bills up high. So you're already creating that dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional family, living alone, feeling stressed, need the doctors, need the money, they make the money. Oh, look, we're putting all this money extra into these services because the services wouldn't be needed if families were looking after each other.
Yeah.
If everyone was happy. But they're not focusing. And even in the schools, they don't teach you that. They teach you all these subjects that later on not everyone needs to use. English and maths I understand, but not all the other things. They don't teach you about marriage. They don't teach you about parenting. They don't talk to you about relationships. They don't talk to you about health. Yeah, they do PE, but they don't talk to you about health.
No.
They don't talk to you about all the things that are actually needed.
Yet they've upped the hours as well. Is it the kids now? Is it 10 minutes more? Our sons.
They are at school longer. Yeah, he's been 10 minutes extra each day. So it's to keep them locked. It's like a prison thing. But yeah, remember, the people who are making decisions, they make enough money that they can take their kids during the summer holidays and breaks. They can afford it. So they make the decisions, not the people who can't.
It's true.
It's not about people. They don't care about people.
And
that's the thing.
That's with everything. This is what they're doing.
They need it, and then they'll say, we'll need more people to come, more therapists to come, more this, because more and more, and then we're going to invest our money in those things.
Exactly.
It runs the country. It makes more money for them.
Yeah.
It's all a business. And then they're already
suckered into it.
And everyone else is just going by whatever they're creating. And it is chaos, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the next thing was, have no idea what kind of parents our children are going to be, and what's going to be around at that time, what their relationships are going to be like with their children, regardless of what they think they're going to want to do or wish they do. You know what I mean? Who knows
how it's going to be?
Exactly. And certainly the way that the countries, I'm not just saying this country, all they're doing is trying to make whatever money they have to and looking after themselves. They just want to win, and they do the talk of whatever suits them to get what more they can get for themselves, kind of thing. True. That's all it is. I mean, there are ways that they can actually make things easier and better for everyone, but they just choose not to. They want people to struggle.
And that's what people are. That's what's happening. The world is really struggling.
Everyone's relationships. Everything.
The thing is, I think everyone's a lot quieter about it than before. You because they've done that. They've I
think everyone's just going, well, there's nothing we could do. They don't listen anyway, regardless, and they're all the same. That was the podcast. Obviously, led from one thing to another, and like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, the work-life balance is needed and is possible to do. But I think for each individual person, it's different. That's what it is. You basically got to look at your own circumstances. If you're single, it's totally different to someone who's married. It's totally different to someone who's got family. So whatever it is. And then obviously working is, everyone's jobs are different. Depends on what you're doing and your hours of work. But around that, it's just like making that time for yourself. And it doesn't mean what everyone else is telling that's amazing and great for you to do. It's about whatever brings you happiness and joy. Honestly. It could be anything from pinting with your friends to a cup of tea in the coffee shop kind of thing. Whatever you fancy. It could be a Netflix binge watch.
And one thing
and it could be computer gaming for a few hours.
Don't regret it. Don't feel guilty. Sorry, not regret it. It's like feeling guilty. Because you do have that, don't you? At times. As a mom, I do at times. I'm like, just like the other day I went out and I like to go out for my coffees, even if it's on my own. Like, and say, you do feel like, oh shit, don't feel good because you deserve it. You deserve it.
And then there's also time. So you got your time. Do something that's healthy for you, but what you want to do. Don't have to hit the gym and do the weights and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you fancy that you feel that you can possibly do brings you happiness and brings you joy. Yeah. And then finally, having some quality time, either if you have got a partner or your children, or even if it's not that, it's friends or it's parents or siblings or whatever, whoever it might be that truly matters to you and that you want to build that relationship with, making some time with them. But it doesn't have to be daily.
No,
it can be whenever you can, but as much as possible, and you've got it sorted. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments below, and hopefully we see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.